Shameless, I want to say, is a comparable Protoss player, so I'm curious how this turns out. I'm curious if we can even go to the ace match. Let's go. As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of ley lines, we have the blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. It is Shameless. And spawning in the top right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player, the Red Zerg representing Team Falcons. It is Solar. Solo, who has been struggling specifically in this matchup as of late. Like ZvP, it's been a struggle here for Solar. There's been a lot of upsets in favor of the opposing player here instead of Solar. And again, we'll see if he can recover. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can redeem himself here and make it further into the tournament. Shameless, of course, he was the rising star of 2024. He had a lot of success. He improved quite a lot in skill. And I'm always reminded of his series against Wayne, for example, in Firegrow Cup number 6, or was it number 5? Shameless has been improving a lot. He's a very young player, very young. He's 18 years old. And we'll see if he can replicate Geralt's success from last week. Now, settling in. Yo, shout out to Blake who's in the chat. Bane Glory as well. Get that. ¿Cómo están? Hatch Gas Pool, standard opener so far here out of Solar. Nothing crazy. And Shameless, he isn't really one to deviate. He's not really one to really go for any quirky builds. He typically thrives in the mid-game. Typically a mid-game oriented player. Likewise, so is Solar. I mean, Solar is willing to all in, don't get me wrong. Depending on the map. Here on Ley Lines, the Ley Lines is a little bit more of a defendable map here. Defendable 4th base, 3rd base as well. There's ramps coming into them, so it is easier to hold on and to survive against aggression, more so than other maps like Whispers of Gold, for example, or Frostline. So we'll see how Shameless will approach this. Same with Solar. Now joining up, settling in. Oh, and I do have to set some things up. To apologize. What do we have here? Beautiful. Sorry, just updating the Twitch title. As we have our take of choice, going to be Stargate. Stargate opener out of Shameless. Going for a Stargate. Into a 3rd base. Most likely an Oracle-based opener. Could be a Void Ray. True. Could be a Void Ray instead. And likewise, Solar just chilling. Hatch Gas Pool. 3rd base down the way. Joining on up. We'll see if Solar can settle in. Far so good. Now, Overlord Scatter is going to be denied. This is a little bit suspicious here. Going for a Stalker-based opener is typically non-standard. This is usually done to hide the tech. We can see that it's not really hiding anything like a Twilight Council, so a little bit of mind games here to Shameless, but he will zone away the Overlord. Overlord is zoned away. Now, because of that Stalker, it does mean that there's less adepts, which means Solar, he's safe at home. He doesn't really have to... He can skip lings. He can freely drone up. He does have the safety links from the early game, but there's no adepts to really apply much pressure here to really keep him at home. So Solar moves out with the scouts. Oracle is revealed. Lings, they are forced back. And the Overlord should fall. So nice snipe of the Overlord. As Shameless is maintaining his 3rd. Solar does invest into an extra wave of Lings here, and we'll see if he can apply some pressure to that 3rd base, maybe get an adept. But outside of that, Shameless is just transitioning in a standard way. Twilight Council, Forge, +1 on Blink. This is what we expect out of Shameless. Going for a standard follow-up. Solar's moving out, and we'll see if he can catch the Stalker, catch an adept. Oracles move out. As they move out, Solar moves in, and he will get this around. Yeah, miscontrol there from Shameless. The adept was not on hold position. Adept does fall. Oracles are racing back home, which means they get 0 economic damage. Solar will not get the pylon. Going to be forced back. Behind this, Lair is on the way. Following this up with the Lair. There's a safety Roach Warren, so Solar, he can commit into Roach Rav. Or this might just be for safety. Keep an eye on the drone counts. As we mentioned before, it is not uncommon here for Solar to go for 2 or 3 base all-ins. And he might opt not to saturate his 4th. Keep an eye on him. If he doesn't invest into road speed. Meanwhile, once again, another surround. Depths, they keep getting caught out. Shameless slipping up here. Losing, what, 4 adepts so far. And this does mean that Solar is free to drone. He's free to drone. 4th base now on the way. Gases are being taken. More gases on the way as well. And there's that Hydra then. Okay, so it's going to be Ling Hydra out of Solar. Is taking up. He's not staying on roaches. Taking all of his gases. Revelation gets eyes on the Hydra den and also on the Evo Chamber. Later Evo Chamber here for Solar. Interesting. We'll see if he goes for range. Ling's just trying to poke in. Shameless from here, he can tech up into his form of splash damage, either Colossus or in this case, it is going to be Storm. Up! As Stalkers, they get caught out once again! Solar, he just keeps getting so much value here. Oh my god, takes down 3 Stalkers. Can he get another? A little bit greedy there out of Solar, has to pull away. But looking at the trades here, 5 Adepts, I thought it was 4. 5 Adepts and 3 Stalkers, ay. And yes, Solar, he's losing Lings, but it's worth it. Because this means that there's less threatening his bases, there's no economic damage, the Oracles are stuck at home, and Solar's freely droning. Shameless trying to go for a move out, but again, he's got 4 Stalkers. Barely an army. Storm is on the way. Shameless poking in, but he can't really achieve too much. He's forcing us some transfuse. Forcing transfuses. So far, Solar, he's holding on. He defends. Does defend. Robo behind this. You can see Shameless walling up. And Solar, he's just freely embracing Ling Hydra. Now, he hasn't droned his 4th base yet. This is the big sign here, is that we need to see, is he going to saturate the 4th, or is he going to commit into a 3-base all-in? As right now, he's just focusing on purely Ling Hydra production, which is fine for the time being. Oh, we have confirmation. Oh, I apologize. I missed Overlord Speed. That's a sign. Yeah, 3-base all-in. 3-base all-in here from Solar. I did miss Overlord Speed being researched, so he's going for a mass drop of Lords. He is not droning up the 4th whatsoever. He's committing. And Shameless has no idea. Shameless, he has an observer. Sorry, he has a stasis towards the left-hand side. He does not spot the main army. As Solar's going for the Doom Drop. And rotating his main force towards the south. So it's going to be a double-pronged attack here. We have Solar pushing towards the main army, towards the main base of the 4th base, and going for a Doom Drop towards that natural. And Shameless, he does have Storm. If he sees this coming, he can defend, but he's just now spotting it. Spots the main army rotation. Shameless, he's distracted. Here at the natural, nothing. There's a shield battery, a cannon, a stalker, not much left to defend. Oracles are racing back. Hydras are revealed, and here comes the drop. There's a recall. Does recall off his army. So far, Storms, they will zone. I mean, good response here out of Shameless. Very good response. So far, not taking any damage. Gas Geyser goes down. Massive Storm on the army. And there's more Storms behind this as well. Shameless, so far, he's defending, but is distracted. We need those Storms. First Storm connects. Running out of Stalkers. Yeah, it was a rough defense here for Shameless. He was distracted. He lost too many Stalkers. And now the High Templar are exposed. So Shameless, he defends his main, but I can't say the same for his 4th base. Yeah, Solar, he's broken through. Shameless, he had split up his army well, but he was lacking his attention here. Lost the 4th. Solar not going in for the kill, going for the 3rd. Storm gets spent. As another Storm will connect, zoning Solar away. Behind the Solar is taking. We have an Infestation Pit. We have a Lurker Den. Solar, he is still not droned. Solar is still on 66 workers. That's all he's got. And yeah, he is breaking through. And again, a big reason for this, Solar, he did not have to drone up or re-drone at the entire game. Didn't lose any workers, any economic damage. He had full map control. 28 probe kills. And there's nothing left. GG gets caught. Solar, he breaks through, and Solar will take a lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG well played. Solar, he will take game 1. And again, just a really solid game here out of Solar, just maintaining map control, catching Stalkers, catching Adepts, keeping the Oracles busy at home. And Shameless, he missed the all-in, he missed the move out, he did not see Solar coming across the map. Despite that, he had a really good response. I'm impressed by his recall and his reaction to defending against the drop. He defended well there, but again, while he was focusing on his drop defense, his main army was struggling, and he lost all of his Stalkers. Because he lost Stalkers at the 4th, that meant that the High Templar were exposed, and he couldn't get the storms he was hoping for. He couldn't actually move forward and storm the Hydras. He was forced to storm like a handful of links at a time, as the High Templar were exposed. GG. GG, well played. Whew. With that, we are now getting into game number 2, and we'll see if Shameless can bounce back, or if Solar will take the tour. We shall see. Thank you, J Paralyzed. Thank you. Esther J. Less than 3. Less than 3. But I do apologize for missing Overlord Speed. Again, that would have been a tell of the Drop Lord all-in ahead of time. I had spotted it. But now though, we're jumping into game 2, and it looks like we have our second map. Ooh, loading into one of the custom maps, one of the TLMC maps. We're going to be loading into Talisman. Now, just for some greater context here, for those that are curious, here for a lot of events, a lot of tournaments actually, for PiGosaur Monday, for the Monday Night Weeklies, for KSL, for the Hub Cup, and for our tournaments, for the Sparkling Tuna Cup and Tenacious Turtle Tussle, we do not actually feature the old maps in the map pool. I'm referring to King's Cove, Abyssal Reef, and Neon Violet Square. These are 3 maps from back in 2017, 2018. These maps have been removed from the tournament map pool, and they've been replaced by TLMC maps instead. And here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Talisman. We have the blue Protoss player representing Team Little Fairy. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Shameless. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg representing Team Falcons, leading the series 1-0. It is Solar. Here we go. And welcome one and all to Talisman, one of the more quirky maps in the map pool, is what I will say. Here's a quirkier map. Oh, did I never open up predictions? Uh-oh. May have been distracted. Just double checking. Yeah. Predictions are a little bit late, but you can place your bets. I mean, Solo already has a lead in the series, but I want to believe in the potential ace match. So I do apologize. But here we go. Now, one of the quirky things about Talisman is the expansions. We have a triangular third base, and on the one hand, it's kind of walled off, but there's actually a little patch here on the right-hand side. You can see there's a little, here. You can see there's this little kind of alleyway here where there are minerals. Basically, a worker can actually mineral walk through that and can actually expand and take the third base that much faster. And it's a hybrid base, so you can expand the right-hand side. You can fully wall off towards the left. We've seen a lot of Protoss and Terran incorporate this, just because it does kind of reduce the amount of attack paths here towards its bases. And you can take this triangular third. You can expand forward here as well towards the center and commit into a 3-base all-in with a boosted economy with these hybrid gold minerals, with the gold minerals themselves. Alas, we can see that neither player has done so this game, but that is kind of an option here on Talisman to reduce the time it takes to get across the map that much more. As he rushes, this is quite short on Talisman. For now, standard opener out of Solar, likewise standard opener out of Shameless. So far, we are not incorporating that more unique hybrid base, not yet. Solar's going to be knocking down... Oh, going to be nibbling away at those rocks. Pulling away. Solar checking for the third. As Solar is going for the center. Oh my god, he's crazy. Is going to be expanding aggressively here, but towards his opponent, a very exposed third. It's out in the open. This is not a base that you would expand here as a third, maybe as like a 5th, not even as a 4th. It's crazy. Oh my god. Bold move here by Solar, and we'll see if he can maintain this base and maintain his economy, as he doesn't just expand towards Shameless, but again takes a very exposed base And we'll see if he can maintain it. So far, 6 more Lings across the map. Shameless poking in. Behind this, just going for a Stargate. I would not be opposed to something like a 3-base, 8-gate to blink all in. I think there's a lot of power there in that for Shameless. As he shades towards the bases. Oh. Gonna be forced back. Bit of miscontrol out of Shameless. Yeah, I don't think he intended to shade. Lings here, they will get locked down. Lings they surround. They take down both adepts. Nice pickoffs here by Solar. Shameless, he is going for that Twilight Council before expanding. And this looks like Glaives. This looks like 2-base Glaive adepts here out of Shameless. He's contained on 2 bases. He is not allowed to expand. He's going to be locked in. Going to be contained. Oh. Will sneak out a probe. Solar doesn't notice. Doesn't notice the worker. Next is on the way. Solar now is aware. It's going to be forced back. So far, so good. But he scouts. He gets a full scout of the main base. Solar, he sees everything. Sees the gateways. Sees the Twilight Council. It's going to be Blink and not Glaives on the way for Solar. Sorry, for Shameless. And coming into this, again, I do stand by the ability to go for something like an 8-gate all-in. I think there's a lot of power behind that, and I think that's a good way to punish this exposed expansion, but comes down to Shameless. As Solar comes in with the attempted surround. Going to be forced back. Is zoned away. And Solar, he's not droning up, by the way. He's going for his own aggressive build. He's rushing into a Roach all-in. Okay, so Roach all-in from Solar. Fast Blink from Shameless. Who do we favor here? I mean, on the one hand, it makes sense, and Shameless, he confirms. He sees no drones, no saturation. He knows. He should be fully aware of what's happening, and we need shield batteries. Shield batteries, cannon, static defense, warp-ins, more gateways, void ray production. It looks like he's still trying to piece it together. And here we go, we're whirling across the map. Now he throws down the shield batteries. Yeah, late reaction, late response. Shameless didn't realize what he scouted. Lings, they hit the third, distracting Shameless. And here come the Roaches and the Queens. Here comes the all-in. Now this base makes sense. Let's go. As he does move forward. Bowser on the pylon. Shield battery going to get depowered. And second shield battery, is going to finish at least. Seconds away. Oracle goes down. And the stasis is about to run out. Stasis is about to run out here. Shameless being forced further back. And there's no support. Shield battery is going to fall. Lings, they come in. They collapse on the army. And there's no escaping this. There's no getting out of the third. Oh my god. Yeah, the mineral line goes down. The base goes down. And the Stalkers, they get surrounded. 3 of them do escape. Nice stasis. Stasis does buy time. But Solar doesn't care. Solar, he doesn't care. Knocks down the third. Dark Shrine on the way for Shameless. And game 1, Solar went for a 3-base all-in. Here in game 2, 2.5 base is what I will say. Like a little bit. I mean, I would say 2-base all-in actually. As I didn't take his gases here at the natural, the gases in the main. Just took the high yield gas geyser instead. From here, Solar backs off. Solar doesn't need to push into the natural. He's far enough ahead. He's taking a 4th. Ooh. I thought about expanding. There we go, expanding on the right-hand side instead. Knocking down those rocks. Oh. Shameless is pushing forward. And Solar, he wants us around. He wants him. He's diving in. Looking down some of the Stalkers. Blink is barely off of cooldown. Whew. Just in time. Avoids the biles. Does avoid the biles. Solar rotating over. Denying the third once again. And there's no defending this. There's no expanding here. Shameless just stuck perpetually on 2 bases. DTs are going to be welding across the map. Either spores is a detection. The answer is there is detection back in the main and the natural. Third base is vulnerable. So there's potential for damage. As Oracle takes a lot of hull damage here. Solar just going to be committing in. DTs have potential, but alas, Shameless is still stuck on 2 bases. He just can never expand. Templar waddling in. We have a detection on the way. Drones are going to be going down. But we have overseers. Overseers, they soon will arrive. As they are slow, true. Floating in. 1 DT goes down. More drones going to be falling. 7 drone kills. But yeah, GG gets called as there is detection. And Solar will take the series 2-0. Will advance on to the quarterfinals. GG. Ooh, GG, well played. Congratulations here. Solo will claim the series. Shout out to Shameless here for, again, having a back and forth. And again, I want to believe that there's a chance for Shameless in Game 1. Game 1 was very close. Unfortunately, his attention was split, and Solo took advantage of that. Game 2 was a little bit more one-sided. Unfortunately, it took a little bit too long for Shameless to realize what was happening. Remember, Shameless, he scattered. He saw the third base. He saw no saturation, but it didn't quite click in his mind what he was seeing himself. And as a result, his response was a little bit more delayed, and yeah, the third base is just so isolated on Talisman as well. It's so vulnerable. It's so cut off from the natural and difficult to hold on to. Shameless, he attempted the defense, but was unable to pull it off. And with that, GG. GG, well played. Whew, we do see Solar taking the series. And the question becomes, do we have another match ahead of us? Do we have another series? Exclamation mark and be in the chat to have a look back at yourselves. Let's catch up on what has been going on.